Our next organization in this segment on Impact in a Minute is Datasketch. So I'm excited to welcome the CEO of Datasketch, Juan Pablo Marin Diaz.
Hello, everyone. I'm Juan Pablo. I'm the founder of Datasketch. I want to start with this. This is weird use of AI. Basically, the image you see there is an image of my father's taxi in the 90s in Bogota. It has a bullet hole in it. It's a way to show you one of my memories, childhood memories. And growing up in this environment of violence and mistrust of Bogota in 80s and 90s got me thinking if I could use science and technology to do something about that. 20 years ago, I was already building and training neural networks with some interesting example like this one for estimating rain out of mobile antennas without having to plant rain sensors. Later, I was building projects like this. What you see there is a map of forced disappearances in Colombia, basically people being disappeared by different armed groups. On the left is a map. Red dots is where people went missing. Green dots is where they were found years later in mass graves. And this type of important work collects multiple data sources from newspaper archives, from data of the police, and many different sources. And it's just showing a map or a visual representation of this could make it very impactful. When I presented this, some lady from the UN came towards me and said, this is very important work. One of those dots is my sister. She disappeared close to Medellin in the 90s. And this type of impact that you can have with this data and visualizations is very valuable, but how do we scale it? Not everyone can afford a data scientist like myself. There are 3 million of us in the world. What do we do? Of course, we want to avoid this. We want to have the right data for the right algorithms. And this comes to selecting the right data, but the truth is data lives in multiple formats. It's actually very specific, and we are not in a big data world anymore. We are in a small data world. So how do we use this small data to build localized solutions that can help answer the right questions? That's what we're building. So this is Lucecita. She runs a cafe in Bogota, and just in this picture you can see that she has 3 different small data sources for payments, accounting, and so forth. And of course, she cannot do anything with that data that lives in silos in different systems. So what do? We talk to small business owners in Bogota. This is Alejandro, one chef in a restaurant. We're trying to get rid of this whiteboard so his cooks can have a tool that can pull the inventory for the restaurant in live, and he can focus on sustainability efforts in his restaurant for 0 waste. Or Olga, she has data on the production of her bakery, but this data is in multiple systems. And we're trying to understand what it is that we can do for them, or for millions of small businesses in different parts of the country or in different countries. So we identified a lot of business questions, and what we're doing is building small AI models from understanding the data, tweak local models, and iterating fast to give them the right answers with automated reports and an AI chatbot that can answer questions from their own business in their local context, which is something unattainable today, especially with hallucinations. We get rid of them by pulling the data straight from their systems. And so what's interesting about this, look at Alberto. He runs a bookstore, a bookshop in Bogota, and he gives very nice recommendations to his customers. But this data, he didn't trust that AI or algorithms could help him in anything. But at the end, he was happy to see that the simple algorithms we implemented for him with his live data of their sales data of their books was encoding the recommendations that he was giving to his own customers. So basically what we're doing is bringing the powerful recommendations that all of us have through Amazon, but we're bringing them those recommendations to small business shops in physical stores in Bogota, which of course opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Or Angela, she runs a cafe in Bogota, and we're saving her hours and hours of spreadsheet work because she's pulling data from multiple systems while we automate all this data into a single format that we can basically generate reports by simply talking to a chatbot. So What comes next? We see that we cannot trust or expect to have one single brain that knows it all, but rather we need to have many different small brains that could answer very specific questions in a neighborhood in Bogota or in whichever other city. And with more data and local data, we will be able to create even more products that are very valuable in this very specific local context. So that's the invitation. Let's trust small data that's applied to local context and work with verified data so we can reach millions of smaller businesses who cannot afford data solutions like the big players. Thank you.